On this episode of The Real Estate Show, we were joined by Montell Watson. He is the Director of Diversity Lending and Strategic Partnerships at Movement Mortgage. And we get a little bit into the Grab the Key event, which is big on changing the mindset about home ownership, the benefits of cold plunge. You may be surprised to find that there are lots of them. I was surprised. And whether his wife will convince him to have a fifth child. So if you are a real estate professional and you want to learn some tips and tricks from one of the best to do it in our industry, then this episode is for you. Hope I get this right. Director of Diversity Lending and Strategic Partnerships, Montell Watson. Welcome.
I'm glad to be here. Did I get it? It's a mouthful, isn't it?
I think you should change it to strategery. Is that okay?
I made it up to sound like the longer it is, the more important I sound. So, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. So tell me, you're with Movement Mortgage, and we are lucky in our office to get to do a lot of business with a lot of your different loan officers. And we know firsthand some of the great things about your company, but I would love for you to tell me what you do for Movement and why you like being there.
Oh, wow. So what I do here, I've worn several hats. But what I do now, I'm very blessed and thankful to be in the role that I'm in now. But I focus on our diverse and multicultural markets across the country. And that's from helping with strategy, helping with marketing, helping with retention, helping with recruitment. And probably one of the biggest pieces I'm passionate about is the community engagement aspect of it. And even, as you think about technology for some of your bilingual customers as well. So I'm involved in any and everything along our diverse and multicultural market spectrum. And I also lead our inside sales team, right, which is helping focus on, any leads that are, from the internet, from our website, from marketing campaigns, and also our servicing book. We have a pretty strong servicing book that we service, around 60, I think it's around $68 billion worth of customers, right, and families. And so my team is the team that helps protect that book to keep our customers for life. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then that's you had a second part of that question, right? Why? What was it?
Why do you like being at Movement?
Gosh, Movement is a very special and unique place. It's an organization of individuals that are all rallied around the same passion and goal and North Star. And most simply put, is just like we're all here to love and value people, which. Mm-hmm. In an industry like ours, it's unique, but also just from a for-profit perspective, what we do with pouring back into communities. And, we're a mortgage company, but we also have schools, for gracious sakes, right? We have Charter 1 tuition-free schools, 5 of them in Charlotte, and have a plan to have another 100 over the next 10 years.
It's up to 5 now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, and
that's insane.
Opening up like another 6 or 7 this upcoming year, right? So it's a special place to be at, and so it makes it easy to want to be a part of the organization.
Yeah, that all makes perfect sense, especially when you put it like that. It is. I agree with you. It is rare for businesses in our industry to be so plugged into their local communities. And you guys don't just do business in North Carolina and South Carolina, but you do pour a lot back into where you are and where you're located. So I personally appreciate that being a part of this community. Now, when you're talking about everything that you do at Movement, that's a lot. How do you juggle all of that? I mean, surely you've got personal assistants just following you around all day, right?
Well, no, it's great people, right? Just having a strong team and great people around you. And, I get to work with the cool thing about mortgage and real estate is that it is a relationship business, right? And you start to build relationships and you're working with people that become your best friends, right? And so it's, building systems and having the right people around, it makes it, I don't want to say it's easy, right? Because I feel like our industry is never easy.
No.
But it allows us to put systems in place to be effective and efficient, even in markets like today.
That's very humble of you because you're doing all of this great, important work, but you're giving credit to your team. So hopefully they listen to this and realize what a great person they work with. Now, there's something that I have seen you post about the Grab the Key event. And I think this is super interesting. And I want to know more about it. And you probably have gathered from talking to my husband, Ryan, that a lot of our listeners are real estate agents and people that are interested in home ownership themselves. It's kind of a mix. So I think that it would be very relevant for those people to know more about this event and what it stands for and what you're doing with it.
Absolutely. Before I jump into that, I just got to know if Ryan still can, deadlift like 1,000,000 pounds. Like I still got to know if he still have that in him. I know
So
the CrossFit days are long gone, but I don't know if he still, just throwing up weight like crazy. But
so he will tell you no, but the truth is yes, he can still deadlift 1,000,000 pounds. He
I
doesn't
believe it.
like to do it because every time he deadlifts heavy, he basically like doesn't want to walk for a week. Like something bad happens every time he has like a deadlift max. So I
I
think
love
he's
it.
just written that off.
That's
So
smart man.
ability is there, desire is not at all.
Smart man, smart man. No, but
Yeah.
Grab the Key is a very special initiative that we put together. Gosh, Tiffany, it's probably been since 2019.
Hmm.
We've seen a gap within helping support the Black community, being very intentional around helping support the Black community as it pertains to homeownership. And understanding the history of housing. And I don't know if you've ever, I know you're an attorney, if you ever read The Color of Law, it takes you back through the history of housing in America, specifically around your diverse and Black communities, from not being able to own homes to redlining to Jim Crow to Fair Housing Act, and then finishes you to where we are today. And that's the main thing of what we want to do from a Grab the Key perspective. We've traveled across the country. We've been in around 32 different cities, and we bring out the entire community. We want to have the mayor there. We want to have your top broker owners. We want to have your top builders, attorneys. Anybody in the real estate and mortgage profession and ethos. We want you to come out, and so we want to talk about and really unpack the history of housing in the Black community, the trauma, and then also change mindsets around it. Because a lot of our community don't feel that they can own homes. And I'll tell you the testament to that is my own story. I started off my career in lending. And the very first house that my wife and I went to go see, actually, not the very first one, every single one that we went to go see on our first time going out shopping for homes, I talked us out of it. Because I didn't believe that was for me. I didn't believe that it was possible. And I felt that I was going to get turned down. And I was a loan officer. I knew how to get qualified, right? And so it's
Yeah.
changing that mindset around that. And luckily, my wife was like, we seen the house, the very first house we bought. And she was like, no, we're buying, excuse my language, this damn house. And
Hmm.
we bought it, and it changed our lives. Right, we bought it for like 200, and I think it was like 212,000, right by Panther Stadium. Put 25,000 into it.
Which is unheard of now. I
Right,
mean, that's
think
that
about
is
it.
truly a life-changing decision.
And then sold it 2 years after for $500,000. Right, and then
Hmm.
I kicked myself because the guy who bought it, he wanted to buy all of our furniture, and he Airbnb'd it the very next day. But
Yeah.
it changed my life, and it's just a testament to a lot of times in our community over long-term trauma. We feel it's not for us, but it is. And there's so
Hmm.
many people out
Hmm.
there in this industry that want to help and make it possible, right? And there's different products
Yeah.
and programs. And sometimes it takes a little work, and it takes a little persistence, and it takes a little patience. But it's possible. And if you are willing
Yeah.
to understand that, it'll change your life.
I'm so glad that you talked about your personal experience because I read, I don't know if it was in a blog post or something, you mentioned that you know this all too well about the mindset and what it's going to take to shift the mindset about homeownership. That was on my list of questions to ask. And I'm just so glad that you talked about it, because it's very easy for people, me being one of them, who hasn't had that roadblock in front of me, to not realize there are other people that, like, okay, I look at someone on paper who very easily could go to a lender and be qualified for a home, and not understand all of these things that are keeping them from taking that step. So it's an important conversation, and it's going to take continuing to talk about it, but then taking action and doing things like grab the key, to get more people exposed to the fact that homeownership is a real possibility.
Absolutely.
So how often these events happen? Well, probably as often as you can make them happen.
Yeah.
But when's the last one that you did?
Last one was in Minneapolis. Gosh, it's September, so it was August. It was August, and we have one this month.
Okay.
We're in LA, and then the
My
following month
goodness.
in Charleston, South Carolina. So it's
Yeah.
around. It just kind of depends. It's typically around at once a month to every other month. We actually had, this is the cool thing about this though, Tiffany, is that yes, from a corporate aspect, we have our community engagement strategy, but what ends up happening, like we had one this previous month in September, but from a corporate aspect, I wasn't there because the loan officer was like, hey, I can do this. I've been a part of it. I've seen it now several times. I can run with it myself and do it. And that's what we want. Right. That's exactly what
Yeah.
we want. We want our loan officers to partner with their real estate agents and all of the folks that they partner with in the transaction to help people to go out and educate their community. Because if you bring awareness to it in the education, you're going to change your life, right? And
Yeah.
we can't do it alone. And quite frankly, us as movement, we can't do it alone just as one lender. We hope that a lot of other lenders jump in the game and do the same. So.
Well, leading the charge, I mean, you've basically created the blueprint, not just for your loan officers, but for other lenders of, this is how we can get this done. So, yeah, look at what we've done, and, put your own spin on it, but get out there and do it. That's just incredible to me. And I'm curious, is this why you were on the stage with the mayor of Atlanta speaking
That's
to the
right.
big group, or was that something it was? Okay. Tell me
Yes.
about that. Was that pretty cool?
That is really cool. It's really another cool thing about it is
Yeah.
that so the place that we did it is called the Gathering Spot in Atlanta, and Ti
Okay.
was literally in the hallway as were having this event. So you got Ti there. You have obviously our CEO Casey Crawford there, the mayor of Atlanta, and while he's on stage, the mayor's on stage. Which we didn't even know this, which is such a cool moment. But in front of 350 agents, builders, folks in our industry, loan officers, et cetera. He's on stage and says, I don't know if you guys know this, but, I have my loan with Movement Mortgage. I'm being serviced. I did my loan with Movement when I bought my house, and I'm being serviced with Movement. And it was just such a cool, surreal moment.
Yeah.
Because, Andre, he is amazing individual, has a lot of great initiatives that he's trying to lead the charge in Atlanta and doing a great job. So definitely a very cool, surreal moment.
Yeah, probably like you lock eyes with Casey Crawford. Like, yeah, we did that. Even the mayor of Atlanta wants to work with us. That is so cool. So, I mean, at this point, you've probably spoken to thousands and thousands and thousands of people about homeownership. And I don't know, maybe you've had an opportunity to sit back and reflect, but there's probably lots and lots of people who, because of hearing what you've said, now own homes because they realize they can. So if you haven't sat back and thought about that, I encourage you to give yourself a pat on the back, because of the things that you're doing are making it so that people are actually going and buying houses and creating change for themselves and their families. So I applaud you for that.
No, I appreciate that.
Really cool stuff. Now, I saw Ryan sends out a questionnaire anytime we have a guest on that's not like a regular guest. And I saw that you were named one of the top 100 diverse leaders in the city. And I can tell just from talking to you that you're humble, but I want you to tell me, this is a big honor. How do they decide? Just tell me more about this, because I think it's incredible.
Yeah, so I actually was very surprised. It's like one of the first things I won since playing basketball, so I'll take it. No. So the Charlotte Business Journal, I think this is something that they do consistently, and reached out, and I got the email. I'll tell you, I was sad because I couldn't even attend the event. because I was speaking in Miami for the National Association of Hispanic Realtors, and I didn't get to go, but it's a cool honor, right? It's
Yeah.
definitely a cool honor to soak into that in a beautiful city, in a growing city like Charlotte. So I'm very honored to be a part of it. It's sad I couldn't make it, but definitely a cool thing to get since basketball's the last time. Like playing against Steph Curry and him taking all of my dreams was the last time I ever won any type of award.
Yeah.
Cool honor.
I'm pretty sure Ryan has lost against Steph Curry too, but it was like middle school days, so certainly not at the same
So
same
we share the
level.
same pain. We share the same pain.
Yeah, you do.
I'm
You
over
do.
it if you can't tell. I'm over it.
It really sounds like it doesn't bother you at all
Not
anymore.
at all.
So kudos. Now you played, is it Elon? Is that right?
Yeah, I played at Elon University. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's still basically right here at home. Now, are you from a different state?
I'm
Is
from
it,
Virginia,
am I,
Southwest Virginia.
okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you decided to make North Carolina home after coming here for college
I love
because
North Carolina.
doing so much good here.
I
It's
love
a
it.
great place to be. I mean, you got basically we get all of the seasons. We got the beach and the mountains, like everything you want right here within the walls of our state.
Can't beat it.
I think we're the superior Carolina, but maybe we don't have to get into that. I do have a question about your family, and you don't have to answer this, but I do have to ask: is Breeze going to convince you to have one more child?
Oh boy, how did I know that was absolutely not. We're on the same page.
At capacity.
I think. Yeah, we're definitely at capacity. No, it
Yeah.
is a beautiful thing. It's so much fun. The chaos is so amazing. It's funny. I always open up whenever I speak, and I tell people that I have a lot of energy, and but simply because I have 4 kids, and they are the ages of them are 7, 5, 4, and 2. And that's also the hours in the night in which I wake up. And so, which in all honesty, Tiff, is exactly what happened last night, which is,
Yes. Oh my gosh. And you're still here. So much energy this morning.
it's rare now, like, because they do a good job sleeping. But last night, for whatever reason, it was a tough one. It was a tough one. But I'm here.
I think after this, I'm going to have to hit you up for some tips on getting your child to sleep through the night because we're at the only one, but an 18-month-old who has, we can count on one hand the number of times she's slept through the night. And it's like, she's an angel during the day. Like we look at each other and we're like, how do we get so lucky? And then at night she doesn't sleep at all. And we're like, that's what it is. There was, we saw a mom in the park one day and she goes, she doesn't sleep, does she? And we're like, yeah, how did you know? And she was like, the cute ones never do. I'm like, well, okay. And so speaking of cute ones, your kids are all, your family in general. Like, I think there is a brand that needs to pick you guys up and just make their entire catalog your whole family. Like some brand that has like men's, women's, and children's clothing. And then you guys just be the models for the brand. They don't need anybody else. You guys got it covered. So I'm sure you guys have an agent already, but if I'll make some connections and see if we can get you guys.
My wife's our agent, I guess, a little bit. But no, we've done this.
Oh, yeah.
Funny to say that we've done different campaigns for, a lot of times it's pajamas and like the bathing suits.
Yeah.
And we've done
Oh,
several
yeah,
of
because the
those,
matching family stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Little Sleepies, which is the brand my kid wears like religiously because they last so long. That's perfect. They've got like their holiday line coming out, and you guys could just be the model for.
I'll tell my wife to reach out to them and see if they'll do something with us. So there you go.
Yeah, Ryan and I will get on the DMs as well and be like, you know what? We know the perfect family to model your next family collection. Yeah, perfect. I love it. Now, your life, I imagine, because you've got a lot of different, like you're asked to speak all the time. You're running all these events. You've got all of these big projects going on at Movement, and you've got 4 kids. I imagine you have to have a little bit of a routine and some structure in your life. Maybe I'm making that up, but do you benefit from like, all right, this is my morning routine. This is what I do. And if I don't do that, then the day is going to be shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have to have some type of routine. So my wife and I both get up very early. I'll
Hmm.
tell you, during COVID, it was the other way, where I would work late because
Hmm.
for I know a lot of your audience would understand and know this. During COVID, it was absolutely crazy for lenders and agents, right? You couldn't even keep up.
Hmm.
And so I worked a
Yep.
lot of late nights, didn't get a lot of sleep, probably one of the more unhealthiest times probably of my life, just from
Yeah.
the lack of sleep. Now we're in a really strong, phenomenal flow and routine. I get up early. My wife gets up probably around 5. I get up around 5:15. I like to get that extra 15 minutes of sleep. So as she's
Hmm.
leaving to go to the gym, I'm waking up and do the whole cold plunge routine. And then
So that's what I wanted to ask you about, the cold plunge.
yeah.
What There are so many people that like I'll listen to their podcast or I'll read that they're starting to incorporate this into their life. How long have you been doing it? Why? I mean, I personally think it sounds miserable, and I think it probably is the first couple times you do it, but the benefits got to be there, or else you wouldn't keep doing it. So tell me.
Yeah, so a few of us, myself, Casey, and Jake, who's our head of marketing, we started in the winter of last year, right? We started it,
Okay.
heard about all the benefits, was like, all right, let's do it, right? And they all make fun of me because I like progressed into it. I started with like my feet and then my knees
Yeah.
and then my hips and then all the way. But hey, that worked for me. And I
Hmm.
loved it. I started to actually crave it. Not only does it absolutely wake you up in the morning and you're ready to go from an energy standpoint, but also a lot of our issues that we have with our health comes from having inflammation, right? And so you start to help your body deal with that inflammation, and it's a crazy thing. And people think I'm crazy for saying this, but I also lost weight while doing it, right? And so like you take the benefits of that, and like I absolutely love it. And so I did it until, like, because I have a pool, so I did it until the pool started to warm
Hmm.
up, and then most recently purchased a cold plunge, and now back at it
Hmm.
again. And so it's something that I love. It's something that I crave. So I cold plunge, and then from there I start working, and then it's getting the kids off to school.
That's the getting the kids off to school part is, I imagine, like a little bit of organized chaos because
Yes,
they're all different ages,
we
going
try
different
to.
places.
My coach used to talk about front loading. He's like, you got to front load, right? You got to do things up front versus waiting to the last minute to do it and sprint
Hmm.
in. And so we try to front load that. We try to do a lot of stuff the night before, which makes it helpful
Ah, that makes sense.
and not as hectic. But it's still hectic when you got 4 kids. Like, it's just
Yeah.
you just never know what you're going to get. So
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Now I'm like, do we need a cold plunge? Ryan's got
do
this
it.
having had the gym, we have pretty much everything we'd need in the basement and to do like CrossFit or whatever else we want. He wants to put like a golf simulator down there. Maybe we should just do a cold plunge
Do
too.
a cold plunge.
After I make him listen to all the benefits, like that'll just become part of our routine.
I love
Because
it.
you got me with the losing weight part because I'm still like in that getting back into exercise after having a kid. Like just got to get back into it. So I'm like, okay, well that seems like a pretty good way to get
Yeah.
things started off and probably wakes you up really well.
Oh, it'll wake you up.
Now about shifting back to business a tiny bit, I'm curious because you see, like as an attorney, I get involved kind of on the back end after the lending process. The house has been found, the lender's been found, all of that stuff. But then you being a lender or working for this company that like does so much lending in the United States, you see it from the complete front end, from before people even know that they can buy a house. And I'm curious what you think real estate agents and real estate professionals are doing right to help change the mindset about homeownership and something that you think we could do better.
Yeah, I think that real estate agents are the bloodline of what we do. They are the front
Hmm.
line of having the conversation with their potential home buyers, right? And so they have an opportunity to really truly educate each and every person that they get in contact with. And I mean, goodness gracious, like without agents, like I don't know what we do, right? So to be able to have that responsibility up front to continue to be an advisor as well as an educator, I think they do a great job. I think what real estate agents can do a better job of is doing it more and broader through means such as this, right? Really truly diving into the ability to get on the social media and just press play and educate. And whether it be, it doesn't always just have to be them. It could be having you on to educate, having like a lender on, and the list goes on and on and on. I think that you can touch so many more lives. And granted, you're not going to get every one of those individuals as a buyer or to list the property, but you're going to change someone's life. And I'd be surprised if you didn't get a customer or two along the way, right? But I think that being able to use the mediums of social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, all of TikTok,
whatever it's called now.
Everything that's out there to have a broad stroke of education, we can do a better job of it. Why not, right? You get the hand-to-hand combat with the individual customers that you're helping. Go bigger, right? 10X is easier than 2X.
Yes. So I was going to ask you about that. So I've heard Ryan talk about this. The 10X is easier than 2X. And then Donald Miller, who has the Business Made Simple podcast, recently mentioned it in like one of his episodes. And it seems counterintuitive. Like, what do you mean 10X is easier than 2X? But it sounds like that's a concept that really resonates with you. Tell me more about it. Why can you get behind something like that?
Well, two key points and actually so many different key points in that book that just jumped out at me. But I love how, when he walks through, like, okay, like if you were to ask someone, all right, if you were going to 10X your business, how could you do it? Right? And then they can give you an answer to that. But then why not do it? Right? Right. And so a lot of times it's because we are acting out of what we need, and we know we need to grow, but you act on what you need. And in your mind, it's like, okay, let's like 2X is, man, it's unfathomable to actually 10X your business. Right. But when you're asked how you would do it, you can have an answer. Then why not do it? Why not go after that, right? And the whole mantra around needing versus wanting. A lot of us act out of what we need versus approaching the situations, and it's actually okay to want things out of life, and have a plan to go get those things. It's a-okay. And another key term, which I think he's written a book around this as well, which is the gap and the gain. And a lot of us live in the gap. And I'll give you a quick story. I lived in the gap for a very short period of time. I got diagnosed with gout around 2 months ago. And I was like, oh gosh, like, man, why me? I'm fairly healthy. I work out, I eat well, but like, why me? Why did this happen to me? Right? Versus living in the gain of, wow, like this didn't happen to me. This happened for me, right? In every situation out of life. And it opened my eyes that there's every situation that we're in, from a business aspect to a personal life aspect, you can make the decision to understand that there is a positive aspect out of all of it. And I was lucky to understand and know that it happened for me, because in the back of my mind, Tiff, I've been living a life of like, I want to eat healthier. But I'm tricking my mind saying, I actually eat pretty good, and not stepping into it. Or, I need to drink less alcohol, and all those things. And then it got taken care of for me. It happened for me, right? And I've lost 16 pounds. I feel better than I've ever felt. Like literally rarely, I think I've had over the last 2.5 months or so, I probably had 3 drinks of alcohol. So I'm living a completely different lifestyle, and I love it. But that
and you might have
mindset.
gotten there, but like the diagnosis is what really pushed you.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a beautiful way to look at it, because that's where growth happens, is in discomfort. So, gosh, now you're reaping the benefits of those lifestyle changes faster than you might have otherwise.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, that's something I'm going to carry with me today, of looking at, situations I'm in, or that I maybe am like, gosh, I wish this wasn't going on, and looking for the opportunity, because there is one. There's always one. We just got to figure out what it is.
Yeah, you got to learn from it.
I was thinking about what you said about doing more, like agents and other real estate professionals, of like, okay, well, we know the conversations to have, just do it more often. And I think people can be really hesitant to do that, because like, I'm 5 years into this thing, and my husband has a marketing company. That's why I've got the microphone. Like you're at a company that's got resources to set up your podcast studio, and that's why like we have kind of an easy setup. But people might see this and think, well, I don't have any of that stuff. I've just got my phone. Who cares? Just pull out your phone, talk into it. I mean, that's how everybody blows up on TikTok these days anyways. It's not the produced stuff.
Play.
Just press play. And the other thing is, people are wondering like, well, who cares what I have to say? Every time Ryan presses record on this, I have that in my mind of like, who even cares? Well, there are going to be people that understand your particular voice and the way you explain things that they won't understand from the other people that are saying it. So I think if you just push that out of your mind and realize that you do have something unique to offer, that's what I would encourage any of the agents listening that are like, well, I don't know if I have anything new to add to the conversation. That I had worked for a CEO before I was an attorney, who always said you had to repeat things 9 times before people would really start to get it. So you might be that 9th time somebody finally gets it, and it's your message they heard, and they're like, okay, I got to contact them. I finally get it. Don't take the opportunity away from these people that can become homeowners because you're afraid to make yourself known and give them the information. So sometimes I get on a little soapbox about that. And, I really liked what you said about just get out there and have the conversations in whatever way you can, in person, by phone. Just press play. Those iPhones are pretty dang good.
Very strong, right? And the number one reason folks don't do that, Tiff, is exactly what you talked about, which I do like a social media post like every once a week on different like leadership or mindset things, and fear is the number one reason people don't start. They're worried about like, just like you said, well, nobody really wants to hear me, or they're afraid that somebody's going to see it and be like, what is she doing, or what is he doing? Why are they like? They're afraid, and 9 times out of 10, it's somebody that they really truly don't care about. Like, if you really get down to the meat of it, it's someone that they're not really friends with. You know what I mean? And it's like, why are you making...
Never going to become a customer. They're not your target audience.
They're not your audience. And you're worried about that person. They have a lot of control over you not stepping into a gift that you have. And another thing I would say is that you touched on this, is that every single person has their unique selling proposition in some shape, form, or fashion. If you're a real estate agent and you're into fitness, incorporate that into your content. If you're a real estate agent and let's say that you were a previous nurse or transition from a nurse, incorporate that into your content. If you have a family, incorporate those unique things or the unique gift that you may be a phenomenal singer, right? Like, there's so many different things that you can incorporate into your content that is a gift that you have that you're just, you're overlooking it. Right. And so, I just encourage people to step into it and get over their fear of what somebody else thinks.
And I think what you and the other folks at Movement Mortgage are doing is it's living proof of that. Because I think, seeing a lot of your loan officers that are now embracing content creation, and they're able to make connections with so many more people that they wouldn't have otherwise, because, I saw your reel about how much house can I have? Like, it's the little things that it's things they talk about all day, every day. They have this knowledge. They can spout it off at, the drop of a hat. So why don't you just do it in front of the camera sometimes?
100%.
Like you said, press play. Well, I think I have asked all of the questions that, like, all the burning stuff I really wanted to know. But I wanted to make sure you had an opportunity. If there was anything we didn't talk about that you would love people to know about you and what you're doing at Movement, homeownership, what the market is like, I want to give you the floor.
Yeah, from a movement perspective, we talked a lot about it, right? We really truly are trying to have long-term sustainable impact on the communities we're serving across the counther, whether that through educational impact, through our, our Grab the Key initiatives, or our La Comunidad initiative, and Spanish digital experience from start to finish. Obviously, you heard about our schools, and one thing another item that I plug in there is that we have our Grab the Key Junior initiative, where we have content. If you want to get into a school and educate, whether middle school to high school kids and students, we have the content. You can take the content and go to those schools, and it's an 8-week program. We've graduated 3 classes so far. We've signed up another 4. And it's something that you can have impact. You can have impact, and you'll change a life. You may go unseen for you, but it's a life that you will change. And so those are some of the big things that I'm involved in here, and that I'm very passionate around at Movement. And from a personal standpoint, we are involved in so many different things. We have a salad shop called Salada that's like the Chipotle of salads, where you can made to order, walk through and make your own salad how you like it, with over 50 ingredients, and also make your own wraps. And then we in the real estate game with Airbnb. And then lastly, one cool thing that actually is relevant for this conversation is, my wife Breeze, that I know Tiffany, is starting Watson 6 Social, where she's been a social media influencer over the last 16 years and has a strong following. And now she wants to give back and pour back into other individuals who want to grow their social media platform, or if you have a business and you want to grow your business on social, and have that financial freedom through that. She's growing that right now and starting. Almost think of it as like, she had worked for so many brands for so long, and even ran other people's social media platforms. Now she's at a place where she's like, well, what about the small business that can't really afford to do that, or the individual? She's now doing a low-cost subscription to allow people to work with her, and she'll coach you and mentor you and be a consultant to your content and your business. So pretty cool
That's
thing that she's launching. Yeah, so.
Your whole family is like, you know what? We're just going to create the blueprint. You're a Jay-Z fan, so I know you're like, yeah, we have to.
I couldn't do it any other way. Got to keep going.
That is so cool. I guess I follow Breeze. I haven't talked to her in a while, but I follow her. So I think I'd seen her post like, hey, I've got this coming. So that is so cool to know more about what she's doing. She does so well on social media, and just authentically sharing like real life. That one thing I appreciate about what she does is that it's not all the like curated, everything. Like, she shows what it's really like to be a parent, a wife, a business owner, all of those things. And I think we need more of that on social media, because it's very easy to get caught up in the like perfectly styled, no hair out of place. Like, she's killing it. You both are killing it.
I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate your time so much. I was so excited that you agreed to come on the show, because I know you've got a lot of big platforms and, stages that you've spoken on. And we're kind of like, we're a growing YouTube channel, getting close to 10K subscribers before the end of the year. We're very excited about that.
What?
But,
where do you go? That's awesome.
Yeah, we're pumped.
Let's go.
And people, I can't believe people actually subscribe, because it's literally called like the Real Estate Lawyer YouTube channel. So like, I can't believe people watch this.
Hey, sometimes simplicity is key.
You want more people to be able to own homes, and we feel passionate about that too. So again, just want to thank you for your time and congratulate you on all of your success, all of the speaking, all of the events you're putting on. Top 100 diverse leader in Charlotte. This is insane. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you guys for having me on. Seriously. And you're crushing it, man. Keep going. I love it. Love to see it.
Thanks.